Carthage must be destroyed. I'm going to share with you guys here how to apply the newest Waterslide decals in our Heraldic Waterslide decal series for Kickstarter. I have the sheets here in front of me and I'll show you guys the different decals real quick. You'll see a full video with all the details in them, but on this first page here, I have all of the heraldic animals, and this time you can see they're a bit mixed in there, like so. Different objects with those animals, we have different checkers. I'll talk more in the other video with them. I've got some religious inspired images here for second sheet, and then on to the next sheet here, we have different crosses and fleur-de-lis, as you can see there, that can go on the back of your shield. As well, we also have new patterns in black and white that can be added to shields as well. So, without wasting too much more time, let's get right into this. I've already prepared a number of shields here sitting on top of this brush cleaner lid, and yeah, I'll get right into it. So, what we need to do, of course, first is we need to pick the decals we want to use. So I'll take a look at what I have here for options. I think I like this line here with the rose, so why not just use that? So what you need to do is, very simply with a pair of scissors, and you don't have to be accurate when you cut these out, but you take your scissors, and you can see, I don't know if you can see in the camera here, but there is a film. Yeah, you see the bit of film there? That film around the line is where the decal is going to be at. So you don't have to be accurate, because that'll actually slide right off. But you cut around your decal without cutting that film, and you don't have to be an accurate cutter or anything like that. You just cut it out, take it off, and then you want to put it into water. I have some water here off to the side, and in that goes there. And then that just needs to sit for about 30 seconds. What I like to do while I wait for that to set, for that decal to separate from the paper itself in the water there, I like to get my shield ready. I'm going to start with the blue one here. But I've got Technical Art Goat from Games Workshop, and that will act as kind of like a primer for the decal to set it in place to protect it. So we'll go right on the shield here with the blue one here. I put a nice amount on there. That might have been a bit too much, but we'll transfer it to the other shields here. But yeah, you get it on there, and then you can let that dry a bit if you want. It's just to protect the area between the shield and the decal. I usually get right into it right away because I'll put the decal on immediately. But otherwise, yeah. And I've already kind of talked here for a bit, so the decal should be ready, the first one anyway. So I'm going to take it out right with my own bare hands here. And you can see it's already sliding off. Now, using a tweezer, a pair of tweezers rather, and a brush is probably ideal. And don't just use your fingers like I am now. But you can, if you want, just do like that. It just slides right off, right? Waterslide decal. And there it is. Look at that. Just that simple. He's actually on pretty good already. And then what you can do after is you can try and straighten him out with a brush. Push him around a bit. You can add a little extra water if you don't like where he is. But once you get him in a spot that you like, that's all there is to it. Right? And there he is. He's going to sit there. He's going to dry. And he's going to look nice. Oh, he fell a bit there, but that's fine. So I'm going to cut out some other decals here, some more of the fancier ones, and show you how to apply those ones as well. So I'm going with the black shield here, and you can see from my other decal here, I've cut a section out from this sheet here of this particular cross, and it's sitting in the water right now. But what I want to do with that whole thing is try and sit it over this black shield here. Let me just adjust that light a bit. Yeah, so that's going to sit over that once it's ready. So what you want to do with these decals here is you want to measure out what you're cutting first and then get a rough area. Now what I actually did end up doing is cutting way more than I needed to. And you can see I have some excess here. I wasn't so careful, but I cut that out and then I tried to cut the shape out of the shield, or at least something of a similar like size. So I have this square here that was in water, and you can see that just slides right off like that, right? And I'm gonna find my shield here, and even with just my hands, I'm gonna set it like so. And now this is where tweezers might come in handy, because you can get a little bit fragile on some of the bigger decals. So you got to be a little more gentle with the bigger ones. But you can see there, that nice coverage there that goes right over the black. And then what you can do is you'll want to be able to use you can use your fingers or your hands or whatever. Yeah, there we go. I just pushed it with my hand and I straightened it out. Now, ideally what I should do is try and match how I want it to sit. So if I want things to be evened out, maybe something like that, where both crosses, if you can see, are in the corner there, and then the rest kind of naturally follows, because we've measured out all of our decals to have the same distances and the patterns between each design. And then what I do with that after, what I like to do anyway, is I like to I'll either chop this off when it dries a bit, or you can like try and push it under the shield like that and just cut away those edges. You'll never have it perfect because you kind of have to eye it, but you can trim it to a level where it looks almost perfect. Right? And then something like that, just like that, that goes on there. And now I've got to, I could have drawn all those out. I could have taken time and taken a lot more effort, but instead I just put that decal on there, and then from a distance, there it has the effect already, right? So let's put on one more here with a different design, and I'll show you guys that after I cut it out as well. So again here, I've taken this from another sheet, just from the corner, just that amount there. You can see I popped it off there, and I'll put that in water, and now I'm gonna fit that over that yellow shield there. All right, and while that's sitting there, I'll also explain to you guys what you do in the meantime with the decals. Once the decals have set, and you can see I had too much water on that one, so I'll take a bit of that off. But once they set and dry a bit more, you can take something like a Lamian medium, or you can just use something like a matte finish, a matte kind of varnish, and you can go over these shields after you protect them. That'll give it a protection and a layer over top, so the decal itself doesn't chip or break or anything like that once it's dry. So I think that's been on long enough. I hope it has been. I go a bit faster for the videos, but yeah, that looks good. I just put some of that Lamian medium over that one. I'll wait a bit on this shield because it was just set down, but yeah, we'll let that dry. And then in the meantime, while we're doing that, I'll just get my brush in the water there. We can pull out our other fleur-de-lis design, and you can see that's kind of cool. We've got the different kind of fleur-de-lis layered over top of each other, and I'm just gonna slide that right off of there, and I'm sticking it. I'm not using any tweezers today. I'm gonna stick it right over top of the shield and try and position it into the spot I want. And you can already see how cool that looks, right? You didn't have to paint any of that in there. And then once it's on, you can either do what I'm doing, where you try and tuck in the sides around it, do your best you can, or if you want accuracy, you can try and cut it out to look exactly the same shape. I like doing the tucking in method because then you can trim after and then kind of like press down and have a little extra to work with. And then behind the shield, like I said, you can just trim off the edges like that. And look how great that is. Like, you know how many hours that could take for me to paint? So like with the decals, they're great. You just got to make sure you line them up. You can see here at the bottom, for example, I should push it over a bit more if I want it to be a bit more accurate. But otherwise, yeah, the design is great. So yeah. So something like that, you just need to shape it out, push in the decals, and you can easily get all sorts of effects like that. And you don't have to put as much time into your painting, and they look great from a distance, right? So, and then what I would do after, and I'll just do this for the sake of the video so I don't have to stop and pause it again, is again with these two shields, once they've dried, I would take my Lamian medium and I would just, coat over top of them just to add an extra layer. It may, yeah, you definitely want to wait for it to dry a little longer, but just like that. And there you go, 3 different shields there. Easily put on through applying them just with simple cutting. I didn't even use tweezers this time, so it's very simple to use these decals. It doesn't take a lot of effort or work. So check them all out on Kickstarter. I hope this video helps you guys out if you are trying to put the decals on your shields or your other objects. So thank you all for watching. Have a good one.